Okay. So, welcome everybody. And I know the first call is always going to be the most interesting, and we are finally here. Today is the 30th of September, and it's Monday. And first and foremost, congratulations to all of you for being on this call. And I want to just make sure that you guys can see my screen and also hear me. So if somebody can just in the chat box just type yes or all good or something like that, that'll let me know that you can see my screen and that you guys can hear me. So good, yes, all good, all good. Okay, perfect. So guys, you are about to embark upon an unbelievable little 12-week training program here, and I think that some of the things that hopefully we're going to all walk away from are going to be a better understanding of really what it takes to grow this business, and also some of the disciplines that are required. But more importantly than all of that, what's going to be the best is that the results that you're going to get out of this training is hopefully going to increase your confidence, increase your knowledge, increase your skill set, increase your ability to grow a big team, and also increase your paycheck. So for future reference, the dial-in number and the go-to meeting are going to be the same every week. So there's no need to get a confirmation on that necessarily. Everything that you've got so far, I'll send out one last email after today, will be as a result of the same information that's going to be on this call. So the same dial-in number, same go-to-meeting link, and so on and so forth. And what we want to go through here is really just getting started. So let's just kind of give you an overview of what this is going to look like. And it's going to be a 12-week training overview that I'll give you the format of what that's going to look like. We're going to talk about today the role of your coach, which is yours truly. And we're going to talk about mutual expectations, your expectations as well as mine. We're going to establish some baselines. We're going to go the 5 up, 5 down, and 3. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about blocking and tackling. And each week I'm going to give you some homework assignments. One of the things that really makes this business go is knowing what to do, when to do it by, and how to do it. So let's go through just real quick an overview of what this Root Camp looks like. And I have to give some props and some credit to Danielle, who helped come up with the name Root Camp instead of Boot Camp, because this is going to have a lot of characteristics of what would they typically call a boot camp, but it's really designed to help provide fundamental roots in growing your business. So keep in mind that this is a process, okay? This is not an overnight type of a thing. So what we're going to do, you guys can see this little green leaf here in the middle of the screen, and that's really where we're all starting off right now, okay? Whether you're brand new in this business or if you've been involved for quite some time, it doesn't really matter, right? You can start your business over at any point in time, which is right now. Now we're going to go through in week 1 an overview, some expectations. We're going to talk about the why and things of that nature. And you can see some of the growth that takes place, guys, up here in the middle as we go through each week. Then we're going to talk about time management and productivity. Then we're going to talk about helping you become a talent scout and attracting quality professionals into your business and onto your team. Week 4, we're going to get into home meetings and webinars and how to take advantage of those and to effectively utilize those to grow your business. Week 5, we're going to talk about ad-libbing being for amateurs and give you some of the skill sets necessary to grow your business so you have the confidence to say what needs to be said and also to ask the right kinds of questions. Then in week number 6, we're going to get into using third-party tools, which ones to use, how do you use them, why they're so important in growing your business. And then we're going to talk in week 7 about personal customer communication campaign. It's referred to as a PC3. How do you really talk to your customers effectively? How do you get referrals? How do you drive the engine behind the business that you're running, which really is your customer base, and drive that downstream? Now, guys, if you're looking just down below and you're not looking at above, look at where the tree has come from and where it's come to just in week 8. Okay, so I'm going to go back real quick just so you can see the visual again. So week 1, you start off with nothing in the middle. Then week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8. You guys can start to get a feeling of this process and how it's going to unfold here. Then week 9 is get them started right. How do you work with new associates, the onboarding process, having the right processes and systems in place. So when you sign somebody on board, you're not starting from scratch each and every time. You're actually doing something the same thing each and every time for each person. Week 10 is the art of promotion and taprooting, and how do you do that and why is that important. Week 11 is the 5 core beliefs, and week 12 is helping develop sustainable leadership going forward. So this is ultimately what all of us want our businesses to look like over time, but the reality is that you got to bring it all the way back to right here and just understand that this is a process that takes some time, and we have to plant, we have to nurture, we have to cultivate, we have to harvest, and as we continue to do that, this is what ultimately the end of the story can look like for your business. Now, I'm going to say in 90 days, with the focus that I'm going to help give you and the focus that you're actually going to bring to the table yourself, this is what your business could look like at the end of 90 days. Now, it's going to constantly be growing and changing from there. These calls, as some housekeeping items, are really designed to be from 5 o'clock to 6:30. And the reason that they're an hour and a half and 90 minutes and not just an hour is that some of the sessions are going to require us going back and forth and sharing some information with one another. And basically to all of a sudden, let each other start to share with the group some of the things they worked on for their homework. Because going right into, and this is the overview that's going to be there. I'll send you out another sheet that has a PDF of the call time, the document, and the details for that. So let's just talk for a second about the role of coaching and really what the coaching relationship looks like and what a coach is versus what they're not, okay? So you're about to embark, all of you on this call, on a very dynamic journey, and it really does have the potential in different ways to provide transformation in your life and in your business. Now, your participation in this process will actually bring you more success than anything I'm going to basically share with you. So have you ever, just a question for everybody as a starting point, have you ever been motivated to act, energized, or transformed in either a big way or a small way by a conversation that you've had with somebody else? And if the answer is yes, then you've had a taste of really what the coaching world looks like and some of the value that it can bring to the table. So, but I want to make sure that there's a clear differential between what coaching really is and you being on this call. See, me on this call is nowhere near as important as you being on the call. And I want to also say that the tendency of doing calls like this is that we're going to want to have our phones on. We're going to want to be sending messages. We're going to want to have our emails open. We're going to want to be taking notes somewhere else and be working on a couple other things. And we sometimes think that just by being on here and our name showing up on the screen and our number being dialed in, that somehow we're on the call. But that doesn't really count. That's only about 25% of being on the call. So I'm going to ask this as part of the housekeeping rules, is if you're on this call, I'm going to ask everybody to shut their phones off, okay, and shut their email down so that the temptation to go there and do this over the next 12 weeks does not exist. And if you find yourself deviating away from paying attention and going to work on other stuff, I'm just going to tell you that's probably going to have an impact on your business. And it's that kind of behavior, knowing that it's not part of the rules that we're playing with here and going against the rules, that's probably why you're not succeeding at certain levels in your business otherwise. Because life is all about being present and being in the moment and not about sending text messages during phone calls or, or answering emails while you're on calls or doing something else while you're on calls. There's a methodology behind why this makes sense. Now, the role of coach, a lot of times people confuse coaches with a traditional consultant or somebody who is a consultant. And unconsciously, people ask coaches to give advice. But the role of a coach, right, is not to provide you with answers or solutions. In fact, it's really to help develop the potential that already lies inside of you so that you can actually increase your capability to overcome obstacles and achieve all the goals that you have in life. So a coach is not necessarily a consultant, okay? A consultant does oftentimes give the answers and gives an example of how things work. Also, sometimes people expect coaches to serve as mentors, okay? Like they want their coach to model the way and show them the way before them. However, it's not really your coach's role to model the way in this particular type of a root camp Rather, it's really to help, again, to discover for yourself where you are today and where you want to be in the future. Because once you actually chart your own course, then a coach or somebody like myself in this journey can actually accompany you on that journey and provide you with support and guidance and encouragement. And just to give you an example of clarifying the role and the value of a coach, if a child ever asks you to spell a word, and if you provide the answer, then you're essentially serving as a consultant, okay? You're helping to solve the immediate problem, but you're not helping the child develop the necessary skills for overcoming similar spelling challenges in the future. And on the other hand, if you help the child learn how to spell the word, by sounding out syllables, or you're reinforcing at that point a skill that the child can use with unlimited words in the future and without you being present. And as a coach, you're developing the potential of the child, okay, which will provide long-term results instead of simply answering and supplying the answers to the questions they ask. So think about your business in those terms, because the tendency that a lot of us have is to just go right into answering the questions that people have. And what we're not doing is we're actually doing them a real disservice, because we're not giving them the opportunity to really learn how to go get the answer on their own and figure it out for themselves. Okay, it's kind of like teaching a child how to ride a bicycle. If you presented a PowerPoint presentation, that informed the child about the dynamics of balance and the mechanics of pedaling, that's a consultant's approach. Do you do that? Or should you actually get on the bike in the front yard and ride it around and then come back and hand the bike back over to somebody and say, hey, look, I did it, you can do it? Well, that would be a mentor. Look what I did, you can do the same thing. But both of these approaches have merit. It's somewhat limited, at least in a duplication business, or a business that we're trying to build that's duplicatable. So the time-proven method that has helped a child ultimately learn how to ride a bicycle, that they'll stick with them forever, is helping that child find balance, right, on the bicycle. And you're going to fall, and you're going to stop, and you're going to go, and you're going to hold the back of the seat, and you're going to run behind it, and you're going to cheer them on and let them go, and all of a sudden then they fall, and then you do it over again and so on. But once that child finds balance on that bicycle, that's a feeling and an experience that you could never teach and that will never go away. And helping people find balance in this business is done in a very similar type of way. So the role of a coach is to provide really support, guidance, and encouragement as you move through uncharted territories in your life and push you way beyond your comfort zones of your past experiences. And you're going to gain more courage and strive for new goals, develop new skills, and reach for higher levels of success when your coach is running alongside of you. So it's not going to be my job, guys, to run out in front of you and pull you along. And I'm certainly not going to be behind you pushing you. I'm going to run alongside each and every one of you and have probably a lot more individual conversations in between each of these calls each week as well. But ultimately, the most value that this program is going to have is your involvement and your participation. So let's just go through a couple expectations as we're kind of launching this training. So here's some things that you can expect from me, and then in turn, here's some things I expect from you. So you can expect for me to be prepared each and every week. You can expect for me to be focused on the calls, not doing emails, not answering texts, not doing anything else, but really being there for you. You can expect for me to be held accountable. If I say I'm going to do something and provide you with something or documentation or things of that nature, then I want to be held accountable, to that. Punctuality, being on time, that's another expectation I have. So going forward, this is the first call, and lots happens in the first call, but one of my expectations is that everybody is on the call, 5 minutes before the call itself, and that you're prepared, you've got your pads out, you've got your homework in hand, you've got everything ready to go. So there may be circumstances where you can't be on time, and if that's the case, I would just expect you to send a message to me via text message or something else that just alerts us to that fact so that we're not waiting for somebody on a call. And also punctuality means that we're going to start on time. Now the first call, I knew there would be some dial-in information issues, and there would be some questions people had about the links and so on. It's the same phone number. and it's the same link, each and every time. So that part's not going to change. So also, you can expect for me to have a positive mental attitude, okay? And what that basically means, naturally, is coming to the table with a level of positivity and growth. You can also expect for me to provide instruction, direction, and provide you with homework. You can also expect for me to give you what you need versus what you want. And a great quote there comes from Henry Ford, and he says, if you asked people what they wanted, they would have told you they wanted a horse that runs twice as fast. So he knew that people would really want the car once it came out, but they didn't really know what they needed at that point in time. They thought they needed a horse that ran twice as fast, but in reality, they really needed a car. So you really have to sometimes give people what they need, not what they want. Also, what you can expect from me is that I'm 110% committed to your results. And you can also expect for me to complete this program all the way through the 12th week in December. So I'm putting myself out there to be held accountable in what you can expect from me. Okay? Now, what I expect from you, mostly all the same things, except there's a couple different areas here because I'm coaching in this session and you're actually the student. So I do expect for you to be prepared. You're back in school here. You're going to work, and there's going to be a little bit of homework. Not a lot, guys, because I already know that the most important parts in growing your business and your confidence is you growing your business. And with that being said, getting enrolled into a class like this, I've paid probably anywhere from $3,500 to $7,500 personally, about 4 or 5 times in my life and over the last 4 or 5 years for programs like I'm bringing to you. Okay, so I've actually probably invested, in addition to those programs, other events, I've probably invested between $25,000 and $50,000 over the last 5 to 6 years specifically in coaches and in mentors and in consultants that I've worked with. So the fact that I'm bringing this information to you guys at no charge other than time hopefully gives you guys an indication that I'm 110% committed to your results. Again, though, also showing you the beauty of the network marketing model, which means that your success is my success. So it's not really about me and what I'm bringing to you in terms of value. I'm just sharing with you the value of this program, which is why my level of expectation in terms of your commitment is so high. I do want you to be punctual and on time. Your positive mental attitude is going to be a huge part in this program being a success. Instead of providing instruction, direction, and homework, you're actually going to follow the instruction and complete assignments. And I'm also going to ask you that every time that you have a thought process that comes up where the reaction would be, I know that, or, oh, God, I already know that. Replace that thought with, isn't that interesting, right? This is what Jim Rohn says all the time. Every time you want to think about something being like, oh, I already know that, just replace it automatically with, isn't that interesting? And it'll change the landscape of how you run your life and how you run your business. Because the minute you say, I know, or, I already know that, or I know what you're trying to say, or I've done something really similar, like I know how that works. What you're doing is you're automatically putting up walls that block conversations from happening. Now, people do it subconsciously. They don't even know that they're doing it, but they do it all the time. So whenever you have the I know thought process, and we all do, I can raise my hand and say I have the same exact thought process, and I have to train my brain to say, isn't that interesting, more often than I say I know. Or every time I know comes up, I have to replace it with, isn't that interesting? If I'm 110% committed to your results, my expectation is that you're 110% committed to your own results as well. And I also have an expectation that you guys complete the program also. So those are some of the expectations that I have. Let me do this. Let me just open it up here for any questions that people have, and I'm going to unmute everybody. Or if you want to just raise your hand, I should say, on the screen here, and just ask me any questions that you have so far on the program, either in the chat box or by raising your hand, and I'll unmute your phone. How do we raise hands? Good question. It should be right next to your name on the, let's see here. Maybe we'll just chat it down in the chat box. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Michael, just eager to hear more. Okay. I have a Mac. Okay. Michael, will your slides be made available to all of us? They will. Okay, okay, good, good, good. Any other questions? Okay. All right, so we're just going to carry on here. So no questions. I think if we ask questions here, that will work. Yes, down below in the chat box works as well too. Yeah, thanks, Cameron. Okay, so we're going to just continue on here. So one of the things, as we talked about going back up to the very beginning here of where we're going to kind of come into play, we're going to establish some baselines. And one of the reasons that establishing a baseline is so important is that, it's important to know where we are so that we can actually know where we want to go. Now, I'm going to basically pull up a document here. Oh, no. Internet Explorer stopped working. That's not good. Okay. All right, so let's go past that. So the first baseline thing we want to come up with here is we're going to have a worksheet. And I'm going to send this to all of you via email. And this is going to be part of your homework assignments, okay? We're actually going to have this first call is not going to go quite till 6:30 because I'm going to give you some stuff to do for the second half, from 6 to 6:30 on this call. But what we're going to basically go through is this. We're going to come up with a current, where are we versus where do we want to be, in our business. So we write down our rank, okay? Then we write down our current. I'll give you an example of mine just to put it in perspective. So right now, I am currently a partner with my goal to be platinum partner. Now, on a separate sheet of paper, these things are going to have dates and target dates attached to them. And currently, if somebody's got 75 customers, then what's their goal of how many customers they want to get and by when? Or if they have 6,000 customers in their business and they know to hit platinum partner, it requires 8,000 customers in their business, then there's a goal of 2,000 more, okay? And then you have the organizational rank requirement of what needs to happen. So again, there's also a piece here I'm going to send to you guys because I've sent it out via email, but I'm just not sure if everybody has gotten it or has seen it. But we have what's called the compensation plan cheat sheet, okay? And what's great about this is that, number one, is it abbreviates all the ranks here, and it shows you what the personal customer count rank is, what the organizational customer count requirement is, I should say requirement, the line structure requirement, and the bonus for hitting that. So wherever you are in the business, the goal should be to rank up to the next rank or to a couple other ranks thereafter by a certain period of time. So this business, as you can see, this particular part of the compensation plan basically means that you have to force focusing on other people's success versus your own in order for you to continue growing in your business. So I just showed you some of my partner goals to go from partner to platinum partner. But keep in mind, I can't go from partner to platinum partner unless I help you guys, also reach your goals. One of the most brilliant business models on the planet because it's predicated off of reaching down and helping people. And it's not giving handouts. It's giving hand-ups. So it's really drawing the best out of people that they've got to offer the world. And the fact of the matter is that we all are capable of operating at a certain level, somewhere up around here. But we typically hover around here, not quite down here. But we typically hover in our area of mediocrity, and then we sometimes show signs of our brilliance, and then we come back down. And so by having a good team here, and by having some good coaching, and by having some good support mechanisms in place, what it's doing is it's going to constantly be helping you elevate your game so that you're striving to hit this more often than you're not. Because left to our own devices, we kind of hover around this realm of mediocrity. And if we didn't care about other people, then we would let them kind of sit here. We'd let them fester in their own mediocrity. And most of the growth comes when we're brought way outside of our comfort zone, okay? So the first thing I want to do, which is part of the working exercise here, is I want you to have a pad out, and I want you to jot down 3 things, okay? Let me pull it up here on the screen for you, if I can do that. And this is also going to be in the workbook that you guys have. This is a, sorry about that, erase drawings. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys this PDF that's here, okay? That's going to basically allow you to write down your current rank, your goal for your rank, what's needed to happen for that to occur, your PCC count, your current PCC count, your goal, and what's needed for that, your organizational customer count, how many OCCs you have, your current number, your goal, and your organizational rank requirement, how many other ranks you have in your business and by when. And then you'll be able to put down here, I'm going to show the plan X number of times by December 31st. I'm going to show the plan X number of times by November 31st. And I'm going to show the plan X number of times by October 31st. So in the next, basically the next 30 days, the next 60 days, and the next 90 days. And then you're going to basically be able to put down there, I'm going to get X number of customers by. And there's a huge promotion I'm going to tell you about in a minute that's going on right now that makes this really, really, really important. Now, I want you to get your pen out, and I want you to jot down the answers to these first 2 questions, okay? So question number 1 is list 5 leadership strengths that you possess. And I want you to write them down. So take a minute here, take a few minutes, and write down 5 leadership strengths that you possess. And it could be a lot of different types of things, from organized, creative. There's a lot of different things that you can do. And take a minute and just really think about 5 leadership strengths that you already do possess. And if you've got your 5 that you've come up with, type them in the chat box off to the side. And I'm just gonna read out what some of them are. So when you're done thinking about these 5 leadership strengths that you have and writing them down, then type them in the chat section on the GoToMeeting chat box down below. Okay, so we have, so Cameron wrote dependability, loyalty, knowledge on Army leadership, selfless service to others, and accountability. Excellent. Those, I would agree with those, Cameron. Good ones. Danielle wrote care about people becoming all of who they are, creativity, listening skills, honest, like meeting and talking with people. Very good. Those are great ones. I would agree with those too. So who else came up with their 5? Good listener. This is Neva. Good listener. Organized, caring, excited, truthful. Awesome. Very, very good ones, Neva. Sandy, good teacher, creative, organized, on time, good listener. Very good. And let's do one more if there's any. Okay, Russ. Don is organized, process-oriented, motivated, work well with people, and punctual. And Russ is great speaker, organized, highly motivated, accountable, hardworking. Very good, Russ. Excellent. Maurice is responsive, integrity, courage, perseverance, and good listener. All right, great. So, guys, and those that shared, thank you. Those that didn't, I'm sure you wrote down stuff for yourself, and you don't have to share, no worries. But for those that shared, thank you, guys. So the fact of the matter is that you all have leadership strengths that you possess, and and you really want to keep focusing on the areas where you are strong. Now, what I also want you to go through here is to list. I'm not going to read off your name if you end up sharing these. Okay, I'm not going to put that out there for you, but just for yourself. And if you do want to share these, I'll just read off what they are. But list 5 qualities that you would like to further develop in order to enhance your leadership ability. Okay, so these are 5 things that you'd like to work on that would probably have a really strong impact on your business or your life. And take a minute or two to think about some of these things. For example, do you blame people? Are you tardy? Are you not on time? Do you worry about what other people think about you too much? Do you have too much negative self-talk? Do you suffer from procrastination? Do you have an overly desire for social acceptance, or fear of making mistakes? And things of that nature. So think about some things in your life, some qualities that you'd like to further develop in order to enhance your leadership ability. Okay, so one person wrote, build confidence. Okay, good. Somebody else wrote, to develop consistency, punctuality, focus, time management, and not doing it all for others so much. And also generally being concerned about others' good opinions. Okay, great. We'll definitely be working on that. Mike Puglisi wrote the 5 qualities that he's good at: encouraging, motivating, somewhat inspiring, listening and hearing people, being coachable. Excellent. Okay, some other people wrote here, need to be a better self-starter, stop procrastinating, get more comfortable talking with people I don't know, and time management. Somebody else wrote, read more books, attend more events. Somebody else wrote, better public speaking skills, better oratory vocabulary, focused ability to be more focused, better time management, better ability to understand the work and work the program. Great. Great, great, great. Okay. And you guys can transfer this stuff over to this sheet as well when I send it to you via email. Another one that was put out there was more inaction, confidence, being more self-deserving, better time management, and coachability, to work on being coachable. Okay, very good. So let's see here. So time management seems to be a really, really big one. So I think that next week you guys are going to absolutely love the segment on time management. Turn organization into action, another area to work on. Okay, great. Good. Very good, guys. So, one of the things that that people have is they have they have a lot of behavior, a lot of social behavior that has come as a result of conditioning. And the majority of people are actually living lives that are disconnected from their purpose and passion. And they're kind of accepting mediocrity right now. I'd say that the addiction to conformity has really killed their zest for life. And there's a number of startling statistics I'm sure that you've probably all read about as to why so many people today are unmotivated, dissatisfied, unhappy, and unsuccessful. So it's no wonder that so many organizations and cultures are characterized by apathy, discouragement, negativity, and even rudeness. A lot of people who are disconnected or discontented have the tendency to blame their present circumstances for their unhappiness, or they blame others, their boss, their coworkers, their spouse, their children, all sorts of things. They change they blame their history on their current. And the problem, however, is never external. Okay, the answer always lies within. It's just that they've allowed outside influences and circumstances to squash their enthusiasm and motivation. And sadly enough, very well-meaning family and friends throw a lot of darts that kill budding desire. And we might not even be aware that these are darts because they frequently strike us beneath the level of consciousness. But you've probably heard, a couple of the following statements or others. Do you really want to go to graduate school? That's a long, hard, and expensive road. Or your parents would be really disappointed. They always thought that you would be blank. Or there's no money in that. Or there's a lot of competition in that field. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Or that's awfully risky. Or how about maybe you've heard, well, we're counting on you to blank. Or you're probably going to fail. So people who tell us sometimes these things they actually are often, they mean well, but they believe they're providing you guidance and protection for making a bad decision in an attempt to be agreeable. Well, we complicate the problem by giving their opinions life and not accomplishing what we're passionate about. So when our need for approval and acceptance allows the opinions of other people to override our dreams, then an internal pressure is created that stifles our energy. And when you suppress your passion for the sake of conformity, then you cripple your motivation and abandon your dreams. Okay? So throughout your past, outside influences have repeatedly pressured you to conform to some type of normal behavior. In probability, very few people actually have encouraged you to ever be fully yourself. And that's really what we're going to end up going through here. Because the influences that come oftentimes are either from influence from family or positive conditioning, social acceptance, and the fear of mistakes. I'm going to read off for you guys here as we kind of get back into this program. The slides here is I'm going to read off some of the fear of mistakes that people have. And think about some of the value of mistakes. I mean, one of the assignments I'm going to have you go through is to think back over the last 10 years of your life and bring yourself from whatever age you are, subtract 10, and go back 10 years. And over the last 10 years, I want you to write the dates down, right? So basically it's going to be 2003, okay, to 2013, and I want you to write a timeline, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, all the way through 2013. And I want you to put above each time or below, on top or on bottom, doesn't really matter, but major things that occurred, in your life during those points in time. And I will guarantee you, in going through this exercise, that you not only will fully start to realize how powerful you really are, but also how much you've really overcome. Because a lot of times, guys, we don't give ourselves enough credit for the stuff that we've done and the things that we've accomplished and the hurdles that we've overcome and the obstacles that we've overcome. And think back to a time when you thought that you were a day or a week or a month away from something being just tragic, whether it was being out of money or being bankrupt or, or losing everything or whatever the case may be. And when you go through the exercise, okay, each year, think back, think through year by year, 2003 to 2013. Isn't it amazing to think that you're on the phone right now in what's called a root camp? I mean, isn't it really just amazing? Just think for 1 second. Put yourself in a present state of mind and just think that here you are on September 30th, 2013, and you're alive, and you're actively participating in a growth program. But then think back to a point when you probably didn't think it was possible that you were going to live past another day, or that something was going on in your family or in your own life where you just didn't know if there was ever going to be a way out. So it's important to go back and give yourself some pats on the back as a real starting place before we venture down this journey of 12 weeks together. And you're going to be equipped over the next 12 weeks to be equipped for the next 50 years. You're going to be given all the ingredients that you need, right, in this short period of time that you're going to be able to take with you, because it's not going to be what Michael did for you. It's going to be what you did and what you committed to for yourself, right? The only value I bring in this whole equation, guys, is providing some level of a structure and consistency and a compilation of information, right, to you. But ultimately, you're going to see that the value is going to come from you, because you have inside of you, you possess the ability, to lead, and you possess the ability just to know that leadership comes from within, and it's a combination of our attitudes, our goals, and our skills. So, hear this story for a second. He went to war as a captain and returned as a private. Afterward, he failed in business. As a lawyer in Springfield, he was too impractical and temperamental to be a success. As he turned to politics, he was defeated for the legislature in 1832. In 1833, he ventured into business world again. And again, he did not succeed. In 1834, he was elected to the state legislature. In 1838, he was defeated for speaker. In 1840, he was defeated for elector. 1844, he lost a race for a congressional seat. 1846, he gained a seat in Congress, only to lose it again in 1848. He ran for the Senate in 1854, but lost. In 1856, he ran for vice president, but again, lost. In 1858, he ran for the Senate again, and again, defeated. And in 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected president of the United States of America. Think about that. Think about all the defeats that he had. He was defeated in 1832, defeated again in 1833, went back into the business world, failed again. He actually had a mental breakdown, I think 2 of them. Went back into the business world, failed again. Went into the politics arena, ran, failed, ran, won, then failed again, then lost it, then failed, then failed, then failed, then failed, then failed, then won. So think back to what you think were all of your failures, okay, in the last 10 years. And I'm going to have you start to think about all those things that you thought were failures and start thinking about them as successes, right? In your vulnerability is where you're strong. It's in your weakness that you have strength. So this particular segment here, this first segment, is really about helping you guys get kind of a clearer path to say, there's lots of noise that goes on around us. There's lots of email newsletters we get. There's lots of events going on. There's lots of this. There's lots of that. There's lots of everything. But we need to really start to take a step back and reflect on a couple of these key areas here. So two of the questions that I had to answer from a consultant was, number one, who do I want to be? And number two, what do I want to be known for or as? Those are 2 questions I had to answer as part of an assignment. And I guess I have one of 2 options before we continue here. I could read you what my answers were to those questions, or I could leave that part out. So based on whatever you guys want, you can type it in the chat box there, because I'm fine either way. Read it, leave it out. Okay. Read it, leave it out. 50-50. Leave it, read. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it out for now. Good question, Sandy. Sandy asked, what do you want to do? I initially was going to read it, but don't want the coaching to be about my story or my example. But I'm gonna read it to you guys anyway, just so you have an idea of what to draft for your own homework. So some of this is personal, and there's another part. Actually, I'm going to jump back into. I'm going to read actually a. I'm going to read this story here. Okay, this is my journey in Veridian. Okay, and some of you may have read this before, but you guys are also going to come up with some of your own version of this. So actually, you know what? I think this is on our website, so I'm not going to read this. This is too long to read, so I'm not going to read this out to you guys. Okay, executive decision. Not going to read that. It takes too long, and it's not worth going into right now. It's also on the team website. So that is that's the first part of the first section here, guys. I don't want to ramble on here. Let me unmute some of these lines, and let me open it up for some questions or comments. And I'll do this until it gets to the point where it's too annoying for some people. So questions or comments for now on this 12-week process?
Started. Good stuff.
What is the question that we're supposed to answer here? I'm sorry.
Any questions that you guys have so far on what we've accomplished? Because I've talked for the better part of the last 45 minutes.
Yes, Michael, I'd like to know, you mentioned you were going to cover 3 things, and we've done the first 2 lists of 5, but was there a third, something you wanted us to be sharing, with each other tonight?
Well, the first 2 things were the 5 leadership strengths you possess, then 5 qualities that you'd like to develop to enhance leadership, and the third thing are also going to be things that we're not going to go through tonight necessarily, but that can be done on the on your sheet there, which is some of what you'd like to achieve, some of the results you'd like to achieve as a result of this root camp process.
Great, thanks. Okay.
All right. So the other question I have is, hold on here. Is everybody familiar with the current promotions and bonuses right now?
For the most part, I have a sheet that explains it all if I have any questions.
Okay. And then the other sheet here that I'm going to send to you guys.
Michael, could you mute?
And the phone's muted here. So here's the other poster that I have that I'm going to send to you guys that basically helps you guys track the beginning of a new associate. Okay, so you can put the name up in here, start date, and then what their monthly goals are. And the E is obviously for electric customers, and the G is for gas customers. But basically the goal is to early on become a consultant. Okay, that's the #1 goal in this business. And in fact, I would probably suggest for all of you to commit yourselves to re-becoming a consultant in the next 30 days. Okay, if you're already a consultant, then the goal is to recommit to becoming a consultant. If you're brand new, then the goal is to become a consultant. So what this does is this is actually going to give you a great baseline for working with somebody and for some mentoring. But basically, you want to become a consultant, you have to have 25 total organizational customers, okay, OCC. You have to have 8 personal customers, and you have to have 2 senior associates, okay, which is basically somebody who's got 4 customers. So this chart pretty much looks like a consultant. This has about 20 customers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 18 customers, or 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, 16 gas and 16 electric, okay? So so this person right here would be a consultant. They got 16 gas or 16 electric customers. And they've got 2 other people that are here. Now, one of the most important parts of this chart is up here under Show the Program, okay? And why is this so important? Well, obviously the more that you show the plan, you're going to get results. But when you share the plan and you're working in a mentor-mentee relationship, then basically you can actually chat specifically about what just took place. You know, how'd you make out with so-and-so? Or how'd you make out with Joe, the person you met with, you know, yesterday? You know, what's the follow-up that should be done with, you know, with this person or that person? So that's really, when you show the plan, you're going to either get a customer, an associate, or some sort of a follow-up, you know, thereafter. But I would just tell everybody that the goal probably is to recommit to becoming a consultant all over again. And in doing so, you know, what that's going to basically do is that's going to help you do what you're telling other people to do, okay? So I'm going to email you guys at the conclusion of this call. I'm going to email you that worksheet that we talked about that you can use specifically for hang on one second, let me see here. Okay. I'm going to email you this this comp plan cheat sheet. I'm going to email you this new associate tracker poster, and also this this sheet that's here. In fact, I'm actually going to put these things on our team website. So I'm assuming that that most of you guys know by now that Team Entheos, okay, ENTHEOS, is where our team website is going to be located, and I'm going to put a piece in here for the root camp training, and the same password gets you in for all this stuff. So the same password is going to be positive, and then the materials can be located there. So when I send you follow-ups there, yeah, I know Google Drive will be fine, but not everybody has that. Everybody has the website, and we're going to probably just put the documents there. So I got some feedback from somebody saying a Google Drive will be fine, but it's not for everybody. So the last thing I'm going to cover here, guys, before we wrap up and give the homework, is some of these bonuses here, just to make sure everybody understands what's going on. And then the last thing before I do that is we talked with a few people about what does it really mean to be, you know, fully plugged in to, you know, to Veridian. Well, I showed somebody kind of what a full-time calendar looks like, and if you think about it, on Monday mornings we have the Q call, which is 20 minutes, and Monday nights we have the leadership call, right, which is an hour, 60 minutes, and then on Tuesdays we have the Joe O call, same with Thursdays, okay, Joe O call, that's 20 minutes each as well. So if you take just the Q call on Monday mornings and the Joe O calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's going to be about 1 hour worth of time, okay? The leadership call, which everybody should be on every Monday night from 9:30 till roughly 10 o'clock or 10:30, is also an hour, okay? That should be ingrained into your schedule. If you went to an overview meeting, a live overview meeting once a week, okay, say Wednesday night or Tuesday night or Monday night or whatever it was, call that 2 hours. Now, it's your prerogative to hang out afterwards and socialize and so on, but the event is usually an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you made 2 hours of phone calls each week to prospects, and if you showed 4 STPs a week, and they're half an hour each time, that's 2 more hours. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8 hours. If you were on every Q call, every leadership call, Joe O's calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays, made 2 hours of phone calls, went to a live meeting every week, and showed the plan 4 times, right? That's a full-time, you know, calendar right there. So when people say, you know, how much time does it take to grow this business? Well, think about that. You know, 8 hours is what that takes. Now, you might be the person with the thought process to say, well, you know, you didn't take this into consideration or take that into consideration or travel or whatever. And I get it. You know, there's other stuff that's in there too. But you staying around to socialize afterwards, you know, that's your prerogative. You know, you being on the phone longer than you need to be on an STP or whatever, then that's something that needs to be, you know, refined or worked on. But that's really what this business looks like on a full-time basis. And that's basically what we're going to, you know, teach people how to take advantage of that. Let me just pull up we were talking about the promos here. So if everybody's familiar with these promos, then you're better off than I am. So I'm basically just continuously educating myself on what these promotions are all the time. So this end of the month surge, this is pretty much null and void as of today. So otherwise, let me keep some of the other promotions on the table for you. Okay. The first one is the customer acquisition bonus, and this is really, really, really important. Okay, this is something that's brand new. As we all know, when you're in this business, generally you get access to a fast start bonus, and the fast start bonus gives you a certain time frame to hit your bonuses within, and then after that, we have a customer acquisition bonus where you get paid every month, regardless of whether you're in your fast start bonus period or not. So to make it simple, let's just do this. You know that when you first sign on, you get 2 weeks to get your first 2 customers, and you get $50 if it's the electric customers. And if you get 2 gas customers in 2 weeks, you make another $25. So basically $75 is what you make generally under your first fast start bonus. Then you go out and get 4 customers in 4 weeks, total of 4. Then you're going to make another $75 and $37.50 for gas. Okay. Then if you get 8 customers in 8 weeks, you're going to make $125 and $62.50. So when you add them all up, you're making about $350 on your fast start bonus if you get 2 and 2, 4 and 4, and 8 and 8. Okay, and that's really where. Let's see here. $375. Sorry. So you make $375 by getting your fast start bonuses by just getting 2 customers in 2 weeks, 4 customers in 4 weeks, 8 customers in 8 weeks, gas and electric if you do that. If you just get 1, then you just get half that. So you get $250 if you get just gas, and if you get just electric, if you get just gas, it's $125. So the combination of the 2 is $375. And then you guys already know, if you don't know the fusion track, the difference between the fusion, the power, and the surge, just go online and look at those. But right now, here's what's on the table. If you go out there and get 16 customers in your first month, okay, or in the next month, I should say, then you're going to have access to earning double, triple, and quadruple the bonuses in the next 30 days, okay? And they're doing it for October as well as for November. So I'll bring it down here to this page here. So what this basically says is if you go out there and get 16 customers in your next month, which everybody's capable of doing, then you're going to make a $1,200 bonus given this new cab bonus that they have on the table right now. So if you get just 4 customers, you're going to make another $150 cash bonus instead of the $75. And if you go out there and get 8 customers in the next 30 days, then you're going to get, basically it's going to be $237, call it $240, versus the $75 plus the $37.50, which would have been, in the old world, which would have been $112, right? So we're basically getting double, triple, and quadruple, so $750, okay? Now, when you look at the bonus here, it shows you that, let me just erase this. As per the compensation plan rules for electric and gas, associates must be paid as a consultant or higher at the end of the month the bonus is earned. Associates are not required to be a consultant or higher to earn the solar cab bonus, which is up top. The bonuses are cumulative, and there are 2 separate bonuses for electric and natural gas. The solar, by the way, guys, is $200 for every solar customer that you refer during the promotion period who signs a Solar City contract by February 28th. So that's a big, big bonus of people who can actually go take this thing to fruition here. Associates whose Fast Start bonus period expires before the end of October or November will have the remaining days in the month to acquire and submit customers who eventually qualify to count towards the contest. The CAB promotional bonuses can be both earned in October and November, giving associates 2 opportunities to earn the promotion. And associates within their Fast Start bonus period are ineligible unless customers enrolled are, in addition to their 16th qualifying customer, enrolled in 8 weeks or less since they're converting. And so what we all want to do is basically go out there and you want to get customers, without a doubt, as part of the new customer acquisition bonus. And then I'm not going to go into the residual fundraising program bonus. We already talked about the solar one as well. But there's lots of stuff here, guys, and we're just going to keep it on track each week, by covering a little piece extra or a little piece deeper into the training here than what we typically have. So just to wrap it all up here for this call and to give you your homework assignments, I'm going to give you this sheet. I'm going to email you this sheet, and your job is to fill this out with your current baseline. If you're brand new, maybe your goal is to hit consultant in the next 30 days. Then we want to talk about show the plan goals we've got by the end of the year, by the end of November, by October, and how many customers you want to get to take advantage of this new CAB bonus, and then any other goals that you have for yourself in the next 12 weeks. Then you're going to be able to list your 5 leadership skills or strengths that you put down before, the 5 qualities you'd like to further develop in order to enhance your leadership ability, and some of the results you'd like to achieve as a result of this root camp process. And then also spend some time coming up with the answers to the questions of, who do you want to be? And when all said and done, what do you want to be known as or known for? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Those are the most important things that are there. And then just keep in mind the last, we always have this website here for ourselves. When we first get started, we go through first things first. And once you're in there, obviously it's going to have a password protected. Again, it's teamentheos.com. The password is positive. And then once you're in there, this walks us right through our 15 steps to success. So we start going right into helping people know exactly what they need to do, to kind of get started, whether it's getting their Payoneer account set up or anything else for that matter. So, I'll send you guys an email with a follow-up with these items here. And any parting questions? Any thoughts on our first week here? Any questions people have? I'm going to unmute the phones, and feel free to just shout out what you felt for the first week. And as you're going through that, remember that this business is a process over the next 12 weeks that's going to really kind of play out like this. So if you're feeling anything right now, just remember this is where we are. It's the only place that we are. So any closing comments, thoughts?
Yes, this is going to be fantastic. Thank you, Michael.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Mike, it's always appreciated how well thought out, like everything you do. So I appreciate being able to take part in it.
Absolutely. You bet. Okay, guys. Well, I will see you on the call promptly at 5 o'clock next Monday. Obviously, we'll be in touch throughout the course of the week, and this will force all of us to have a lot more intimate conversations with our own teams. And trust me, guys, by the end of this thing, when all's said and done, you're going to have muscles in your business that are going to feel really good. And the goal is just to strengthen them from today going forward. So kudos to you guys for taking the commitment of participating in this, and good things to come. So take care.